in the machine. There we go. Third time is the charm. All right. We're live. Spencer Israel, Kenny Glick. This is a special earnings season stream because earnings season is Kenny season. And so what we're going to be doing today for a few minutes, we'll do it next week and the week after as well, is just kind of get Kenny on camera, have him show us how he trades these earnings reports, because it's one thing to, wake up and see a 50% mover one day or whatever, or some small microcap stock, which Kenny does do that. It's another thing to know, okay, we have a calendar. We know who's reporting on what day. Now, how do we trade that? Okay. So for example, like this is just a random week, right? And you can just see how big the earnings flow is. There's a lot of companies reporting basically every day from yesterday every day for the next 3 weeks, right? So Kenny's plate is full. He trades these stocks every single day in a very specific kind of voice. So that being said, let's bring on Kenny's screen. There it is. This is what you see if you're in the Hit the Bid trading room. Kenny, yesterday was actually, and today, we had a lot of bank earnings, right? We've had JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, all report in the last 2 days. You were trading these successfully, I might add. So why don't you walk us through sort of what you did?
Sure. Before we even get started, right? Again, it's been an extravaganza. Yesterday was probably one of the best trading days of the year. Because we had some volatility. And again, today started out kind of sluggish like it did yesterday. And just when we thought it was just going to be a boring type of day, suddenly momentum kicked in. And again, I hope you guys have been following me on these shorts on the metals. We crushed it on the way up. But today, this is that UUU, the nuclear stock, just to show you, again, how awesomely rigged this market is. What you're looking at here is, if you have a reason to short something, and this is today's VWAP, we call it the institutional money line. And it's telling you that, today you have permission to stay short some of these names. And when you have why you're selling something and where it's going to go already pre-programmed, you're just waiting for the money. And what's awesome about this trade is when you get the short win and it's basically this is your fake out, shake out, and you get a test from underneath, suddenly you went from a beautiful short to a reason to cover and a reason to go long. And we just got paid on the long trade on a stock that we were short predominantly the whole day, covered, went long, and just sold it right here as it's rolling over and breaking BWAP. So I just wanted to say, like we did that event last week. While I was doing the event, we had a couple of trades show up. Fantastic, the AHR short. And again, so let's get right into it. So yesterday, we talked about I was waiting for Goldman Sachs, and it did not disappoint. Okay, so here's the whole anatomy of the trade, and the red lines were where we pivoted and covered and went long.
So the red lines weren't there when this started. So
right, so I'm gonna erase all that, and I just want to show you how clean the chart looks. This is fresh as a daisy, right? You only have 2 lines, and I've been trading since 2012 with just the 2 lines on my chart, and the red lines are just the pivot points. Those are the low prints and the high prints of the candlesticks when they react. So I position, it's kind of like a roadmap around the VWAP. So chart pattern recognition, roadmap meets the VWAP. So again, the default trade was we're looking to short stocks that are gapped up on earnings and buy stocks that are gapped down on earnings. Goldman Sachs was kind of a combination because the earnings came out and, it was very low volume, but it was up big for a second. And then it broke the VWAP and broke the orange line. Now, I did not participate in this part, but it definitely happened. So it breaks the VWAP, breaks prior day VWAP, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a move to the downside. So as far as you're concerned, if you just came in, and remember, this market is almost 24 hours a day. If you came in and at the open, it was officially down. So we're looking to buy the dip. And when do we buy that dip? VWAP break. So what we looked at was that just back to old school market mechanics. You're talking about a $750 stock here. But when it broke 775, we were looking for it to go to a big another round number, which was at 760. And once it broke 760, we were looking for 750. 750 got us down to 742.50. And that's where we started saying, hey, listen, let's see if it finds some support. And it did. And then it rallies off here back to the 750, and then it double bottoms. Classic trading right here. But what was really important was that moment in itself. So where it broke the new low and then it came back and then tested it, that's the fake out, shakeout. So once you see that pattern emerge, you say, aha. And where it's the next aha moment, blue line break. So now the reason we love this trade is that the faking out and the shaking out, this chop down there provides you the selling, the stops, if you will, if we're wrong. And the VWAP break is the reason we're buying. Now, again, the better you get at this and the savvier you are, and as I'm sitting there guiding you, in this case, instead of waiting for the VWAP break, we started buying it at the 750 break. And by the time I got the VWAP, we were already up 4 points. But once it broke VWAP, that's when the real magic happens, because stocks that break VWAP, that have reported earnings, that are gap down underneath it, over the last 4 years, this trade has provided a winning trade every single time. And the streak we were on was a 1,104. We junked that streak. We're just looking at what we're doing now. So far we're 9 for 9, and this is just one of them. So once again, you're buying the VWAP, and this orange line is way up there at 772. And as one person said, so what are you saying? You're saying this thing's going to go from 750 to 772? It's exactly what I'm saying, because that's algorithmic trading. And because this trade continues to work until it stops, we're going to believe that every time an earnings report is gap down under VWAP, breaks today's VWAP, and goes to my special sauce, which is what we call multiple time frame VWAP. And it wasn't just that. Look how beautiful this trade turned out to be. So you're buying here. Again, let's assume you didn't get in at 750, but you did buy the VWAP break at 754. Look where your target was, 772. That's a monster trade. And just on a couple of hundred shares, you just paid for your entire year of my room on day one on the trade that we talked about on Thursday, that we're looking forward to. And listen, if you just said to yourself, oh my God, I can't trade a $750 stock, good. You trade options instead. So look at the option trade on the Goldman Sachs. So what we do is we trade at the money weekly options, because it takes away the premium. You're not looking to hold it. You just want to trade the option in lieu of the stock. Great. So you go right to that 760, and you can plot it on the chart. So it's really nice. You can see this. Here's the 760. You see how it's basically the same exact looking chart? There's the faux, there's the show, there's your reason to buy. Sure, it's a $9 option. You're talking about a $700 stock, but that $9 option wound up going to 12, 15, 17, pulled back to test your metal, but it held VWAP. Inevitably, that contract got up to $28. So that's a $9 entry, and the stock wound up going up 300%. So again, a lot easier, again, if you will, to trade stock. But if you're afraid of trading large stocks, that's when you go to the options, because most of the stocks we trade have options. So again, and that's just one trade. Boom. Your whole subscription was paid on your first trade. And then there was a bunch more. So Johnson & Johnson, right, came in.
This is also yesterday, right?
This was also yesterday,
okay.
Right. So again, my default is to do what? Is to short stocks that are gapped up on earnings. So when do I do that? VWAP break. I missed the first entry, but then you see the orange line? Over the last 4 years, if you have a stock that's gapped up on earnings that has broke blue and orange 100% of the time, and I know the streak's going to end, but so far so good, 100% of the time, you get the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal and you get paid. So our short was here at 191. Stock went to basically 187. Now, again, with options, I'm not going to show you every single option trade, but suffice it to say, it was a 100% option trade. But now here's what's fun. Because we're actively trading, right? What are we also waiting for? We're waiting for a reason to cover. So I just explained the faux show bro trade, right? So if you're shorter, you have to be looking out for where it breaks a new low and then it comes right back. And look how much there's the faux, there's the show. So no one's going to be covering, you're not covering the whole nut down here. But when you see that pattern show up, not only are you covering, but you're taking that long trade. But again, we didn't do it. We just wound up covering. Now, fast forward to later in the day.
So that was a new that was a new low of the day right there, that red line.
Right. So right. No, well, that was the pivot. So once it came down to that pivot and then it broke back over the VWAP, this time I'm not going to hesitate. I'm already done with my short. And now it just showed me a reason to get long. So we bought the blue line. So we went from, and again, this is why volatility is our friend. Earnings season is fantastic, especially because of the volatility. Because in this case, when you're trading just VWAP and trading the way we trade, you could short the open, cover, and inevitably have a reason to go long. And you're buying 188.80, and look where the stock went to. Basically, right there, and right back to the exact price where we shorted it earlier that day. That's called the Jerry Orbach trade. You're coming all the way back. Jerry Orbach, anybody? Forget it.
Yeah, man.
You know him.
Law and Order.
So phenomenal action. And again, with this trade, this is where we, instead of buying, if you can't afford $700 stocks to trade, you might not even be able to afford the 188 trade. So once again, J&J, you went with the 188 calls. Oops, sorry. You went with the 188, 187.50s, because that's right at the money. Wait, hang on. I'll show it to you. And again, if you don't have the dollar increment ones, you go right at the money. And let me show it to you. Here it is. Kind of in a liquid contract, but there they are. $2.13. They went to $4. It's a measly 100%. And again, that's what's funny about these option trades. Generally, 100% is your starting point, because when they start to really break through those multiple time frame VWAPs and you're in a dollar contract, you sell some at 2 or sell half at 2, now you got a free trade. And in this case, it went up a little bit more. Great trade. And that was just another one. So each one of those trades already pays for your entire year. But wait, there's more. Because Wells Fargo, who the hell even trades Wells Fargo? That was a funny comment from JC.
Wait. I wanted to ask,
yeah.
What time is all this happening?
All this is happening basically within the first hour and a half of the day. Now, again, this trade, most of the good stuff happened in that, again, and this is what was unique about this trade. It was a short first, and there's our fake out, shake out, and then forced to cover the rest at the VWAP, and then a little dip-Saruski back above VWAP, and right here it's telling us you break the VWAP from the downside, and then you test it from the upside. Guess what you should be doing? Buying the stock. So you went from a short to a VWAP break, and once again, with our option players, lovely trade, WFC. And again, I love this one a lot better because you had dollar increments, so you could go right at the money, at the moment of truth. And look at this bad boy. There's that pivot. There's our reason to buy. We were in these contracts at 125, and before you blinked, you were up 100%. And look where they wound up going. It's around 420. Our entry was 120. And again, we're selling along the way to lock into the profits. But, again, at $4, you're still long because there really wasn't a reason to get out. And once again, that one trade paid for your entire year. So we're just in day 2 of earnings.
I was going to say, we're in day 2, and really there's like 3.5 weeks left. Right.
And it's only going to get better because once tech kicks in, you're going to get bigger swings. The Netflix and the Tesla first, and then here comes the Microsoft and the Apple. And all that, you're going to be able to trade the options on all of those stocks, especially when you get to the later days, the Thursdays and Fridays, where everything's option expiration. You're getting options that instead of paying $2 or $3 the night before a report comes out, we just come in the next day and pick up those same options for nickels or dimes. And if they just have a little bit of a follow through, you're talking about 5, 10x trades. And they're just everywhere. And now with this market, we have the best of all worlds. We got monster bull market going on. There's just, the quantum space rockets, robots, and quantum AI chips, obviously the new metals and the uranium stocks, earnings reports, and the QQQ daily options. When I say this is dwarfing 1999, we won't even be talking about 1999 after 2025. Stories are going to be written about what we just witnessed in 2025. It is the most extraordinary year I've ever experienced.
And Michael in the chat is saying he's got to get into options. Well, the best part of this about what Kenny's doing is he's doing the simplest options strategy in the world. He's just buying calls. That's all he's doing. He's not doing spreads. He's not he's not even going out long term.
Yeah.
He's just short term. I suppose calls and puts, right?
Yeah,
But,
and if you want to have some fun, I could talk some iron condors with me. Listen, I was an option principal when nobody even traded options. I took my test. I learned everything there is to know about. Nobody knows more about options than I do. So, again, if you want to go iron condor, we will. But generally, I just want to make money as fast and as quick as possible. And that's weekly options at the money, trading
right.
around
So,
a setup that works.
So I just want to add that, this whole thing, what Kenny's doing right now, this is what he does every morning. And part of that is not just talking through the chart, but it's talking through the best way to trade the chart, whether that is the stock or it is an option, right? Or both, right?
Precisely. Yeah. There are
Right.
just some stocks that just the option contracts are so illiquid. There's nobody trading them. And even if you get the trade right, the option trade, it's not moving enough where you're basically trading it to yourself and you'll lose the spread. It's just, again, there are times where, and also Monday and Tuesday, I tend to just like to trade stock because the options are still a little bit pricey. But come Thursday and Friday, when you have a trade that works every time with a really, really cheap option, that's when you start finding those 5 and 10 baggers.
Right. Okay, so let's go through a few more here, and then the market's going to close in 10 minutes. Maybe we'll get some headlines.
Citibank, another one from yesterday. But, I'm going to show you, again, listen, obviously the trades from yesterday were just absolutely insane. So the reason I want to talk about Citibank, and I'll show you the couple that we did from today, and today was a very limited list. There was only 2 of them. But yesterday, somebody that bought the dip, who bought this right. No, sorry, they bought that VWAP break right here. And they're like, what's going on, Kenny? How come we're not ripping higher? I was like, hey, wait for it. Again, if you're buying that VWAP break, the way that we trade, if there's a low print nearby, those are our stops. So if you bought that first move right there, looking for the monstrous move, and you didn't get it, you had no reason to sell. This was just chop, and you have to let it resolve itself. So while this thing was chopping around, because I'm live in the chat room, somebody basically said, hey, what gives here? How come it's not ripping? I'm like, give it some time. Let's see. If it breaks the low of the day, we're going to have to admit we're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. You just don't stay wrong. But it never did break the lows of the day. So we hung with it. And not only did we hang with it, but that consolidation under the VWAP, look how beautiful the break was, because all that frustration and annoyance, it paid off. And it's because of that frustration and that consolidation that it exploded even higher. And even if you missed the first move, you see how it came back to test it from on top. That's a test of strength, and also giving you a new opportunity to get involved. And once again, let me show you those options. So Citibank on that pullback where I joined in, I was a little bit late to this trade. Those 97s, there was the 97.50s. That's the pivot right there. We were buying them off. Sorry, that was the pivot right there. We were buying them off the pivot, paid about $1.50, I remember. $1.50, $1.55, and then rippage. And it made all that patience pay off. So every one of these trades, and again, listen to the stocks we're trading: Goldman Sachs, Citibank, JP Morgan. They all have options. They're all liquid. Those weird stocks that we talk about in the morning, those are the ones that get you in trouble. The Coots, like today, and the S dots, those will get you in trouble. But again,
no one's getting blown up trading Goldman Sachs.
Right. I mean, you could, but when we're trading exclusively around VWAP, the levels are on the chart for you. If you ignore the VWAP, you're going to lose. But why would you do that? That's the whole point of this trade.
So just looking ahead here, right? Like we've got just today after the close, we've got United Airlines, we got JB Hunt, we've got tomorrow morning Taiwan Semiconductor, Charles Schwab, Interactive Brokerages tomorrow afternoon, and just the earnings flow is going to get so heavy. Just looking through the next few days here, there's 25 earnings reports today, 33 tomorrow, 19 on Friday, and then next week there's 26 on Monday, 82 on Tuesday, 138 on Wednesday, 162 on Thursday. And then the week after is pretty much the same. There's almost 200. There's 281 reports on October 29th and 325 on October 30th.
Right.
So this is hunting season, right? Like
Right.
this is it.
Right.
There's going to be too many of these. Frankly, Kenny's not a machine. He can't trade 20, maybe you could 20 or 30 stocks a day. But there's going to be too much to trade. That's the reality of the situation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought you were going to say, how do I choose? And also, I am hiring. A day like yesterday was why I legitimately am hiring. We're interviewing, tomorrow. We're doing some live interviews. We're having some fun with it. I want to kiss all the girls, but also to the other thing. Sometimes there is 238 stocks that are reporting. 100 of those I don't care about because they're irrelevant. They're low volume. They're not going to be moving. I've been doing this my whole life. I've been trading earnings reversals. That was one of the first trades I discovered. And then adding VWAP to it has just made it otherworldly. But I know which ones to focus on. I know which ones have notoriously reversed. And that's why I said Goldman Sachs yesterday being down. Oh, thank you, Goldman Sachs, for gapping down. Oh, my God, that thing always has a rally. But again, just looking at the list from tomorrow, you're looking at United Airlines, JB Hunt, and, that's basically it. There's a list of about 20. Most of the ones there, not really interested in. But UAL and JB Hunt, those are going to be the ones you focus on. All you need is one good trade. And if that setup doesn't show up, you know what you do? You don't trade him. There's always something else to do. So that's the best part about having me live there. When we get the dud, and let me show you that Morgan Stanley and Dollar Tree seemed like they were going to be duds today. But then suddenly they're not. And the Morgan Stanley has still been a short. I'm not short anymore. But look at how annoying this trade was.
Yeah,
we were waiting and waiting and waiting some more. Finally, see how it rolled over there? We finally got short with a little anticipation lot. And then it just started going back up. But it never broke the high of the day. So we stayed short. And then
I don't know. It came close.
Right. And again, we had two stops. The stop was 166.77, and it never got back above it, and 167 and 167.50.
So you jumped the entry, but not the exit. Nice.
Right. So absolutely, again, this is why this trade, I'll talk about it because it's important, because it tested our patience. But when you're just trading price is patience. So if something breaks a price, then you do something. It never broke. So now that it really solidified the idea that we're right about the short, when it finally did break VWAP, we added to the short. And right there, we thought we were wrong. And I was like, I think we just got screwed. But we gave ourselves that wiggle room. We're still not going to cover until it breaks out of that range. And then it rolled over. And then we got paid. I got out right here. Again, I could have re-entered. And again, you see what you're seeing here? That's a nice little re-entry, because when a stock goes back to the VWAP and can't get over it, that's confirming that the sellers are still in charge. So why not put another short on and you got paid? And that was, again, boring is not a reason to react.
Yeah, I mean, that took what? That took what, 3 hours to play out? 3-4 hours?
Yeah, right. But again, another profitable trade, and we could add it to the streak, because once again, give me a stock that's gapped up on earnings. You give me a VWAP break, I will give you a profitable trade. The streak, it continues. Now, DLTR, another one, just boring, awful, but profitable. So, and again, when I say awful, you would think my next statement was that it was a loss. It wasn't a loss. It was annoying, because I thought we were going to get paid a lot more on it. But here's the faux show, bro. Again, the first trade obviously was short.
Can you just explain the faux show, bro? The someone in the chat doesn't know what that means.
Sure. So the faux show, bro, is a trade that I coined in basically 1997. It's a fake out, a shakeout, and then a breakout. So for instance, here on UUU, the reason I bought and I covered the stock, you see how it broke a new low, then it came right back and then tested that area? That's a fake out, shake them out. So the mantra of the long trader who got shaken out of the trade. Oh, they shook the weak trees out.
I mean, we've all been there. Who hasn't been there?
Right. They got me out. Yeah. Oh, it just went down. I got stopped out and then it went up without me. Yeah, that's every trade. It's a faux show, bro. So when you understand that happens quite often, and especially around algorithmic price levels like the UUU, it fakes them out, shakes them out, and then it breaks out. Faux, show, bro. Fake out, shake out, breakout. And when you see that chart pattern on an earnings report that has already been gapped down, that's them getting those weaker hands out, shaking that last guy out, and then it turns, breaks VWAP, and you get that rip. So it's a visceral thing because, you know, in that faux show, bro, it's doing things to everybody. The long trader is getting stopped out at the worst price. The shorter is getting encouraged to stay short, and then it makes the U-turn where the shorter has to say, uh-oh, I better get the hell out of the way. And the long trader says, oh no, I got to get back into this thing before it rips. And then you get that reversion back to the VWAP. And when you have it on an earnings report, obviously it works on most stocks, but on earnings reports, it provides a winning trade every single time. And it's just unbelievable. And here, so that DLTR, you know, you got the faux and the show, and then the VWAP break. And what did it do? It did nothing. It just sat there and it just did nothing. And then it just faux showed again. And then finally, we got something out of it. But you see, when you're buying that VWAP break, you're just using those prior candles areas as your stop. So you define your trade. And again, yeah, sure, it was boring. We bought it at 97. At least we got to 98. But then you know what happened? It did the same trade right there. We wound up getting stopped out. And then it just reappears right there. You see how it breaks a new low. Then it comes back. Then it breaks VWAP. We bought it again. And we made the same dollar on the trade. Hey, listen, making money is boring. Trading is supposed to be boring. You know, yesterday was pretty damn exciting because I came out guns blazing, shorting everything out of the open like a maniac. It was pretty exciting. And I'm glad it worked. But trading is supposed to be boring. And in an algorithmic world, it really, really is boring because all you're trading is if-then statements. If it breaks this stock, I will break this price. If it breaks this price, I will do something. If it doesn't break, I will sit here. And we just put some music on. We were listening to some yacht rock. So let's go through it right now. I want to show you UAL just reported.
Yeah, so I was going to say this was out just seconds ago, maybe a minute at this point. Let's watch Kenny do this live. So the stock is gapping up on an earnings report that was just out seconds ago. And the headline is the headline's always positive, right? So even when it's not positive, it's positive. Looks like their EPS came in above estimates.
You can stop right there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. The only thing that matters, I do like when bad reports come out and then the stock still rebounds. It's important. I love the counter trend mentality of it. But already you're seeing in two candles. Let me just make sure I'm on the right candle here. All right, so that was a 4-day. And again, my script that you get when you join the room, it's a data set grab. It's a secret sauce, but it grabs as much data as I programmed. And you see how it get to the 5-day, and that's where it kind of bounced? Not a coincidence. Yeah. But tomorrow, what we do is we take these levels, right? So the low print that it hit, that's where I'm drawing a line. This is called the reaction candle, the first reaction candle. So there's your high. And let's say the VWAP, and again, this will reform tomorrow. This is just today's VWAP. So it's taking into consideration this aftermarket activity. And you're already seeing you got the shakeout back above the VWAP, and then it ripped higher. And now you're going to get some, let me put it on the box right here. You're going to get some whippy candles because it's aftermarket, lack of liquidity. So what we do is we plan our attack tonight. So these whipsaws, ups and downs, and the wicks around the VWAP, they'll be more important tomorrow. And especially if you're an options trader tomorrow, again, I'll do some quick math for you. Let's say you were gambling on the UAL and you wanted to go long. So let's say you were buying slightly out of the money calls, the 105s. So the 105 call buyer just paid $3.35. They're screwed. Let's say the stock opens up now at 105.50. You paid $3.35. You're done, even though you got a trade that's working. But those options are going to get adjusted tomorrow because the implied volatility comes out. You're losing. But tomorrow, we'll be buying those same contracts for 80 cents. So when the stock turns and just goes back to the 107.75, our 80 cents will turn back into $2. This guy's still a loser, and we're winning. So I trade options after the earnings come out because buying options into the report, you're a loser. you're always a loser because, first of all, you're guessing on the direction of the stock. And second of all, and most importantly, you're overpaying. So even if you get the move right, you still have to compensate for the amount that you got ripped off on as far as that contract. Come and do what we do. We come in after the fact, and tomorrow, go back to this, the trade on the UAL right here, right? Wonderful. The more it chops around tonight, the more you could expect that chop to play out again tomorrow. So you want to see this. You want to see these monstrous candles because tomorrow it's easier to give an idea. These tops and bottoms and VWAP and prior day VWAP will be the roadmap to our success tomorrow. So let somebody else get chopped up in the aftermarket. I don't even play this game anymore. Aftermarket action is just way too volatile even for me, and I'm doing this my whole life. You give me a stock that's getting hammered all afternoon and it breaks VWAP later that night. Sometimes if I'm around, I'll trade it. But aftermarket is just to get your ebb and flow on, get an idea of what it did, and then we stock and we trade it tomorrow morning.
Why don't we look at another one? Let's take a look at who just came.
Did JBH come out? Because that's probably the one. How about Tiffin? TFIN. That's kind of an active stock. All right, nothing going on. I don't even doesn't even look like they reported yet. But while we're sitting here, I just want to let everybody know, if you never met me, if you never trade VWAP, I know this is idea of, he's just showing stocks that cooperate. Give me a random stock right now. I'll show you. And please don't say Tesla. Every time I ask for a random stock, everybody says Tesla.
You want any random one?
Give me something that was active.
I don't know.
Active.
Fastenal report on Monday.
Right, FAST. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to, okay, so let me see.
This is the nuts and bolts of the market, everyone.
Fastenal. All right. Well, if that was yesterday, look at that.
This is Monday. This is from the Monday report. So.
Okay. Well, this is the follow through, I guess, on the day.
Yeah.
So there's the faux, there's the show, and there's the VWAP break, and there's your bro. Faux, show, VWAP break to the upside. Give me some other random symbols. Come on. And let's get one from the audience. Anybody got one?
Yeah, chat. Let's see what you got. Do they have to be earnings or can they be anything?
Any stock you want. I want to just show you how this
Alibaba.
Oh my God. I haven't looked at this stock in a while. So let's go. What do you know? Right?
I don't know anything. I know it's been ripping.
A couple of chops. And again, this is what we do every day. So if I was guiding you through this trade today, and let's say you bought that second VWAP break, your stops would have been here and here. And then you got paid. And then right there, you see how the market or any stock, they legitimately are trying to shake people off the name before the breakout. That's why it's a fake out, shake them out, break them out. So here you go. One last attempt. You had a deep one, a little one, and then a little tiny one right there. There it is. Fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break, and rippage to the highs.
The rigatoni from Dr. B in the chat.
Rigatoni. Again, I'm a fan of shorting it now. I'm done with this long. I'm a hater of the stock right now. I'm sick of it. I'm a real bear.
Kenny's going gluten free on the rigatoni.
92 cents to $57. I've had enough of this stock on the upside.
How many times in the last few months have you traded this stock?
I don't know, 500 times. Yeah, but here, so this is a perfect example. I was short this thing earlier. And I actually got spooked out of it. It's just a very difficult short. I got short on the multi-day VWAP. So there's the 1 minute. There's the multi-day. I shorted it right there. And as soon as it went against me, I was like, you know what? I can't stomach this short. I should have let it breathe to the VWAP like a good trader. But this one, I got scared and I didn't even want to let it go against me. So I quickly got out flat and then it rolled over. But look, here it is. The fake them out, shake them out. And where does the best move come? Fake out, shake out, little move. But then they do it one more time right here. And then there's the VWAP. And they just do it one more time right there. Fake them out, shake them out, break them out. Very difficult stock to get in front of. I guess it is going to go to 80. But again, I'm done with this name. I'm just looking to short stuff right now. I'm re-embracing my bearishness. Doesn't mean I'm going to be shorting indiscriminately. And that's what the beauty of the VWAP. The VWAP, when I do this thing, and if you get anybody coming with me to Vegas, I'm doing two ceremonies, or it's really going to be a ceremony, actually, a symposium, if you will. VWAP saved my life. I'm a shorter. And again, I'm a bearish guy, and I've learned the hard way. You can't be. You can't be a shorter. Yeah, sure, pump and dump biotech stocks, yes. But most stocks are just programmed to go up. And we're in a perpetual bull market. And if you're going to be a shorter and you're trying to short without VWAP, you're going to get hammered. Hammered. It's going to be over, Johnny. It's over. So,
Kenny, I believe they call that the relentless bid.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I mean, again, listen.
Twice a month, people automatically invest in their 401ks and their Roth IRAs. So,
yeah. The market.
Yeah.
Okay. You can get stocks that'll go down again. Like I said, with these earnings reversals, you give me a stock that's gapped up, you could play that fade. But you always keep in mind that it's not going to last. And VWAP's there to remind you, oh, yeah, shorting is short-lived, and, it ain't going to work out.
All right, well, let's do one more, and we'll do Amazon.
All right, most of these are QQQ related, so they're all going to be, similar to what happened today. And look at this. Wonderful, right? Right there. Monster fake out, shakeout, and winds up closing at VWAP. And again, VWAP is basically, think of it as an algorithmic magnet, right? So stocks are programmed to ebb and flow to VWAP. So once you get momentum in that direction, you generally close to the VWAP. So if you were buying Amazon, monster fake out, then the shakeout, and then there's that fake. You see how it kind of just was making a new decision right there. And once you got back over the fake out, shakeout area, reversion to the VWAP. So pretty decent trade on the Amazon, but that was more or less the market. Amazon, all those stocks are QQQ related. That's why I always trade the Qs. Give me something a little bit off. Give me something random, not S&P, QQQ. I'll show you.
Okay. Cedar Tree is looking at QuantumScape. Oh, boy.
Oh, QS? All right.
That's off. Right. That's off.
Right. There you go. I mean, wonderful trade this morning. We were looking at this one, and if you guys know the running joke, wow. My son was trading with me for a while, right? And I said, dude, get in the Qs, get in the Qs, get in the Qs. I was referring to the QQQ. So he bought the Qs, the QS, because it was like on our radar that day. And I looked in his account, and I'm like, why do you own this stock? You told me to buy the Qs. I'm like, what? Meanwhile, he was in for $8. The stock was at 12. Good job, son. Good job. And that's
I'll take things that happen in a bull market for 500, Alex.
So yeah. So anyway, check this out. This is perfect, right? You got a little selling at the beginning of the day. You couldn't break the prior day VWAP or our multi-day, and then you got the fake them out, shake them out, VWAP, buy it, use the foes and the shows, and the prior day VWAP is your out. So your entry point would have been $17.18, risking a whopping 40 cents. And look what this bad boy did. Rip to 19. Sweet. Very nice trade. By the way, this stock's insane. I mean, this was another one. This was like a 3-cent stock trading at $20 now. I mean, it's incredible what we're looking at in 2025.
Someone's asking if I bought ARQQ. No, I've never even looked at ARQQ. Should I be looking at ARQQ? Arkit Quantum?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one.
Should I be looking at that?
ARQQ, it was fun, over the last couple of weeks. But today, again, there's your 1 minute, there's your multi-day. Reason to be a shorter. Again, you would have been shorting this thing at 57.50, dropped 5 points. Not bad.
Yeah.
And again, rejected at the VWAP, rolls over. I wouldn't have been looking to buy this at all today.
All right. I'm going to let Kenny run. Before we go, there is a link that is on the screen. That same link is also in the chat on YouTube. It's in the description. And if you're watching us on Twitter, I replied with the link. That gets you a special monthly offer, just $3.49 for the month. Get into Kenny's room. Get in today, so you're in there tomorrow, right? By the way, you should mention everything. Every Kenny membership comes with a 2-week money back guarantee. You join today. You don't like it in 2 weeks, fine. Kenny will still be your friend.
Yeah, and if you join tonight, you get a special VIP event called the Schmooze. So I love what I do so much that Thursday nights, this was born out of COVID. It started as just me and my buddy drinking, talking about earnings reports, and it has morphed into a wonderful event. Thursday nights, we play some Grateful Dead. And then at 6 o'clock, we just crunch some charts, talk about the earnings reports that came in, and game plan for the options. So if you are free on a Thursday night, you want to have some cocktails with us, talk about options and charts and VWAP, be my guest. And if you join up, obviously you get special treatment. But if you don't, I'll still let you in. So give me an email or email Spence. He'll give you the link and the password to get in. And that's a good way to get to know us and make a more concerted decision if you want to commit and be with us for the next month or year or 5 years.
I also just threw a QR code up on the screen. You can scan that. Again, this is a special monthly offer. This offer will expire, I'm told, in the coming days. So if you come back here in a week, it won't be there. So get in now. Like I said, the earnings season is Kenny's season, and the flow is only going to get heavier next week and the week after. This is high tide, right, for Kenny. And these trades there's going to be more tomorrow. Probably UAL, probably JB Hunt. Well, I don't know.
You get it.
You have to be there to find out. So the link is on the screen. It's in the chat. It's in the description. We'll see you tomorrow. Someone just scanned the QR code. Nice job. We'll see you in the room. All right, Kenny, keep on keeping on, man. I would say good luck. I don't know if you need luck, but I'll just see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good luck. You'll need it. All right, guys. Nice to see you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, too. All right. Peace, brothers.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come for my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99.